a lot of drugs were taken and not enough questions were asked before this one was made.
That is an absolute perfect synopsis. Captain's Pod, Stardate 210815.1. Welcome aboard the Starship Enterprise and thank you for joining us on our continuing voyages through the final frontier. I'm your Captain Ian Whittington, and with me as always, Brain, what is Brain? It's Ambassador Deneé.
That was the show we watched one time. Brain. What is brain?
One of my favourite messages from last week was, damn it, I'm going to have to watch Spock's Brain again. There was a few people that were like, the way we talked about it, they're like, do I have to rewatch Spock's Brain? Like, are we watching a different episode?
It felt a bit like the Horta episode.
Wait, whoa, Nelly. Spock's Brain and Devil in the Dark are rarely spoken in the same sentence other than, tell me two episodes that are on the opposite spectrum of quality.
It's like you need to watch it.
Oh, yeah. It's in the you need to watch it category for sure.
Yeah, that's what unites them.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely watch the Horta episode over Spock's Brain, though.
That's absolutely fair. Yeah. No, I'm still processing how much I enjoyed Spock's Brain versus the last time that I ever watched it.
I'm still processing how much we loved Back to the Future, which is not at all Star Trek related.
My gosh, it is. Darth Vader appears from the planet Vulcan.
Oh, that's true. Yes, that was fun. We went to the 40th anniversary viewing.
But IMAX.
It was in IMAX, so it was in the theater. Ian has seen this movie hundreds of times because it's his most favorite. Mm-hmm. I hadn't watched it since I saw it on the television whenever it first went from like the movies to the TV. So whenever it hit TV is probably when I saw it.
And I found this out basically as we were about to get into the car on the way to the cinema. I just assumed she knew Back to the Future like a regular human. But
no,
this was like basically the first viewing. So I got to watch Deneé watch Back to the Future for the first time. Basically, It was incredible. That was my favorite part of the experience, was you laughing and just having a blast. And at the end of it, the credits are rolling, we're walking out, and she's like, that's a really good movie.
It really is.
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, like, still after 40 years, still a really good movie. You know?
It's aged phenomenally well. Well, Back to the Future aside, this week we continue our What the Fun series.
Just the WTF, please.
What the TF? The WTF series. And this week we're staying in TOS with Shore Leave, which is season 1, episode 15/16, depending on the numbering weirdness. Ambassador. This
is TOS?
This is TOS.
Okay. So
many connotations with Shore Leave as a title, because Shore Leave episodes tend to go wrong, so it's interesting for me to have like an episode titled Shore Leave so early in Star Trek's run. So give me some predictions. What you think happens in the episode Shore Leave?
Well, my instinct is that somebody is kidnapped or taken away from wherever they're supposed to safely be, and then there's an exploration to find them. That's my instinct. And here's what happened in my imagination. When very Lower Decks-esque, and I was seeing Boimler, was it episode 1, season 1, when he's sucked on by like a plant or something?
The
like
spider. It's the first episode. A spider suckles on him. But
that was not a Shore Leave episode, but like just the immediate danger because you straight off of the path vibe, I think is what
I love it.
Is what I'm wondering. Or maybe because it's TOS, they go to this like little vacation spot and they think that they see something happening that they have to fix because they know better. That they're going to interject their knowledge. Yeah.
That's the standard. Like they go on vacation, some war crime is happening. It's really casual. It's like, oh, fuck, we need to
intervene.
This.
Yeah.
We need to fix these people because they're not acting like humans act.
That's exactly right. That's probably more likely what's going to happen because I don't know if TOS has the budget to dress somebody up like a flower and then like use their arms as stamen and reach out and grab them and suck them in.
If you're, we just need to get straight into the episode. My prediction is that you're going to love this episode.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Yes, I think you're going to love it. We have got, after this, 2 episodes left in the series. Now, this is really exciting because other than Move Along Home from Deep Space Nine, we've hit the ones I knew we were going to hit. Shore Leave is the last one where I was like, this will be in the WTF season, like without question. If you head over to the Ian and Deneé Patreon, I've eliminated the 5 episodes that didn't have a hope of being picked because I don't want you guys to waste your votes on that. So we're down to 5. Next week's has been decided and voted upon.
We'll talk about that.
At the end of the show. So there is just 1 left to. Wow. 1 space to vote for, and 3 that are really close. 4 that are really close enough to win it. So it's. I love this. I love this voting so much.
You'll come around the corner and be like, guess what? There's one that was in last place. It's now in second place.
That was literally what happened this week. The 5th place jumped up to 2nd because all of the discarded votes were pummeled into 1 episode that I didn't expect. So I love it. We'll talk about that at the end of the episode and how you're going to be able to contribute to the final episode of the season. And next week, we will let you know what we're doing for the next season of Captain's Pod to celebrate our 4-year anniversary.
And this is a mystery even to me.
Yeah, it is. Okay, with that, let's head over to the holodeck and we'll meet you in 10 forward, 404 debrief. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab something from the replicator. Yes, I know it's not the replicator in TOS, and share our immediate thoughts and feelings on the episode we just watched together. Most important thing first, what would you like from the food dispenser ambassador?
I'd like to have a gun that doesn't need to be reloaded.
Oh, well, you'll find many of those throughout all of TV, film, and TV and Hollywood and whatnot. That's just where you're going to see that. I would like... what would I like? Oh, no, I want shirts ripped uniform.
Oh.
Shirts? Did I say shirts?
There's 2 ripped tunics in this episode, so which one do you want? Do you want the one that's extremely short and shows butt cheeks, or do you want the one that's like more of a shirt?
I want to do that take again because I'm pretty sure I said shirt and not Kirk. I want Kirk's ripped shirt is what I want specifically.
Can I tell you something that was in my notes?
Please. That's why we're here.
This would be an amazing cosplay outfit today.
Oh, what, if it was just ripped?
So it's just you have a black collar on and then like a ripped up like yellow tunic that's very dirty.
Yeah.
And then you just put like this smear of, I don't know, bruised blue across half of your face.
Big purple shiner on my cheek.
Little dollop of red for the blood. And then, you just look fucking insane. And then that'd be fun. Wouldn't it be fun? I would love
that, but I'm not tearing one of my TOS uniforms.
I'll do it for you.
I think you missed the point. Ambassador, give us a synopsis.
In today's episode, our beloved original crew decides that it's time for a break. 3 weeks have passed. Some shit's gone down. Everyone's stressed out.
3 months.
3 months have passed from stuff. Why does it say 3 months? Is that when the...
Well, what's fun is that's basically how long the show had been on the air. For 3 months. So he is talking about their 3 months.
It's season 1, of course.
It's season 1. This is episode 15. So it's actually like 4 months, but time.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I kind of love that.
So the crew is exhausted and they need a break. And we see the crew go down to this uninhabited planet where they are, I don't even know how to describe this.
Yeah, it's a good description.
Accosted.
Yes.
By
their own imagination.
A unique entity that lives on a planet that allows them to manufacture what they think of in an instant and then have it kill you and then take them underground to heal them where they continue to have their hopes and dreams realized in an eternal cycle. Essentially, this is the very first holosuite episode.
It really is. It's the alien holodeck. This would be, I think in TNG, this would be the computer is linked to your brain and it's creating whatever you want to create.
Yeah, it's an episode where there's a mystery about how, like, they're trying to figure out why what they're thinking of is becoming real and what is not real. But yeah, this is like Star Trek's first attempt at making a holodeck episode where whatever you want can happen and there aren't really any consequences.
Yeah.
Only it's an alien planet doing this, knowing that they're making sex mannequins for everyone. So that's this episode.
Not what they made.
That is absolutely what they made.
Why would you?
There was such an emphasis on this being like a real thing.
Hypothetical. Don't cast any judgment on me here. Hypothetical. If you could create anything, why would you create a sex doll? Why not create a sex person? Why would you? When you can imagine everything,
they are sex people that they turn into like this weird silicone version of themselves whenever they're like expired.
I guess. Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, because once the knight died, he just like turned back into
its constituent parts.
So, but at first it was like a full sex doll. In that case, it was a murder knight. But
so I figured it was because like there was a vagueness to it. Like McCoy asked for in my head, this is how I've always thought about it. Probably because I first watched it when I was a kid. But because McCoy just thought of a generic knight, there wasn't any detail beneath the suit of armor. So that's why it looked like a generic doll thing.
Interesting.
But your thing makes way more sense, that it's dead and it starts to decompose.
Yeah.
Expired sex dolls. Jesus, what are we doing?
When we poke that mannequin, I don't think I've ever been so uncomfortable watching this show.
Yeah.
It's just like, it like squishes.
Yeah, that took me back to like Doctor Who special effects. Like, it was freaking creepy.
It was a lot. There's a lot to unpack in this episode, but yes, it is an episode where what you want on a shore leave is not what you want on a shore leave, but then again, it is exactly what you want on your shore leave.
I don't know. Yeah, I think McCoy pretty much sums all of that up. Give us some overall thoughts and feelings and your what the fuck moment, because I started this off by boldly assuming you might like this episode quite a bit, and I could be wrong.
Yeah, this episode is interesting. I don't know how much I liked it. I definitely did not love it.
Mm-hmm. It's not Spock's brain. I mean, come on.
I would watch Spock's brain before I'd watch this one again.
No, you're killing me.
No,
you're killing me. I think I would too. I think you've broken me. I think this podcast is rapidly coming into Deneé moves Ian away from Star Trek rather than the other way around. It's wild.
So the overall thoughts and feelings, I think it was, I figured it out really fast. Like the very moment that they said, it's like Alice in Wonderland. And then we see Alice in Wonderland, it telegraphed it so quickly. So I didn't really have a moment to kind of like wonder what the mystery was.
It's one of those weird things where it's a twist that's revealed early, and I think it's meant to be really obvious to the audience, but then that makes it extremely frustrating when nobody else figures it out. It takes so long for everyone else to catch on to what is happening. Yeah,
the issue for me was, again, the length, because in the whole episode I'm just like, come on guys, catch up to me here. But maybe it was such an unbelievable thought when it first released that they really needed to make sure people were understanding, like, this isn't a fantasy. This isn't an illusion. This is real. And they're trying to kind of explain how it's happening, and they're doing it in these different ways. Whereas now in modern Star Trek, it's like, yeah, of course that can happen. But, you know, I think I understand why. But they do this in TOS a lot, where they over-explain what's happening because they have a lot of heavy lifting to do. This is a brand new show.
They also have 50 minutes to fill.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's so long. It did
feel long. It did feel long. There was a lot of like just so much trimming that could happen, you know, like Sulu calls over to Kirk and then it pans over to Kirk, who's just like 30 feet across the glade. And then we watch Kirk run 30 feet across the glade over to Sulu to be like, yeah, what's up? You know, and it's like, wow, that was a lot of time.
That is some damn fine run acting. You shut your mouth.
So there was a lot of what the fuck moments in this one for me. But of course, the first one is when the rabbit appears. You're just like, oh my Jesus, Lord God, what is happening?
I never know how these moments are going to hit, because I've watched it so many times, and as a kid, I was like, oh, that's really fun. I kind of remember this is one that sticks out in my brain for obvious reasons, and the bunny is a big one of them. But it was really cool to look next to you and you're just like, that's not something I see in my Star Trek a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had like the nice little head cock there. Look, what's happening here? But it was really obvious because he had just said it, and then it was just okay, how is this working? What is the alien creature? How are they going to solve this? What's the resolution going to be? And my brain was going into those places rather than watching it, and I think that's why this is like a lower enjoyment for me, because it didn't keep me at the table. Whereas if I'm going to do a direct comparison to last week, I was kind of at the table more going, okay, so is he is everywhere? Is it really like, what is this society? There was more questions about the society. And again, didn't answer a lot of questions this time about this alien race either. They're just like, hey, you should just bring all your people down here. Like there was no concern about whether that alien race the alien species is like siphoning their intellect.
Is insidious in any way? Like, what's in it? The first question should be,
what's in it for
you? Why are you doing this?
Are they just
is it just you?
Are they bored toy makers?
Yeah. Are they watching us? Is this their entertainment?
Is it them wanting to watch humans have sex with their creations? Because that is what this episode is all about. This is the sexiest and sexist episode we've seen so far, I think.
I think you're right. It's when they all return back to the bridge. Well rested. It's like, yeah, you guys didn't get much rest.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, the other what the fuck moments is definitely Finnegan. Finnegan was a massive what the fuck. That guy is absolutely batshit crazy. Mm-hmm. And it's this like the question of whether or not it was actually an accurate representation of him, or this horrible profiling.
There you go.
Or his Kirk's angst about getting beat up by Finnegan, like just funneled into this weird rage that turned him into basically like a monkey. He was just hooking around, and Finnegan is batshit crazy.
Absolutely insane. But I love that the point that you hit on there, which is it's the caricature that Kirk remembers from 15 years ago. He's not remembering a human being. He's remembering the trauma of this person that traumatized him. So it's this personification and embodiment. So I think that's why the caricature gets a little bit of a pass as, okay, it doesn't have to be realistic. It does kind of expose that Kirk doesn't like the Irish.
I mean, or the show doesn't like the Irish.
It could be that.
It was a very odd experience, but at the same time, it is what it is. It's honestly another great cosplay. If you are a tall person and you just get like a little blonde kind of page wig, and you put on that costume and you just jump around with this insane smile on your face, laughing and pointing and mocking, then it could be really fun.
And I think it's the first time that we see the Academy uniform.
Oh.
Because I presume that is the Academy uniform.
Yeah, of course.
Because it looks different. It's got a different insignia on it.
Sort of blue.
And it was sparkly and stuff. I kind of love that. I love that. There is a few things that this episode does that I really, really like. Acknowledging that previous adventures have happened. All right, we don't get specifics, but the opening is all about, we need shore leave. What are 3 months we've had? The stuff that this ship and crew has been through.
It's a lot.
Especially because this episode happens immediately after Balance of Terror, which is the introduction of the Romulans, and they've just like avoided a war with the Romulans. And it was like, that's a traumatic experience for the entire crew. Now, it's not mentioned by name, but it's just one of the few times TOS will acknowledge itself and will acknowledge that other things have happened. And I just kind of love that. And the other fun thing is Kirk actually giving some backstory about his time at the Academy. It's very rare that we get stuff like that. Whereas nowadays, it's like everything has an origin story. Everything is explained. We need to know it all. Yeah,
there was a reflective moment with, I think it was Bones and Kirk, like when they were talking about him being bullied.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. That was a nice little, like you said, like a little glimpse back. And then this Ruth person, and kind of seeing, I'm guessing it would be like seeing Kirk's character and thinking, oh, he existed before this show.
Yes,
and that's
exactly.
I can see how that would be a unique thing to do.
Yeah. And
although not anymore.
No, not anymore. And he actually says, McCoy's like, oh, were you like, I don't know what he says, something like, what were you like at the Academy? I bet you were a bit of a cad or whatever. And he's like, no, I was deadly serious. Like, and so it's Kirk was different in the Academy as well. He wasn't the Kirk that we know now. Whereas like the Chris Pine Kirk that was at the Academy
kind of was that way.
He wasn't serious. So it's interesting that we haven't kind of picked up on that. Even in Strange New Worlds, like Paul Wesley's Kirk is very much Kirk. It's not this serious Academy Kirk.
But yeah, so overall, I thought it was interesting. Yeah. I was somewhat engaged, and some things kind of like kicked me out. But the more I think about it, I think I might. I know I like it. I'm just not sure like what level of like I'm at.
No, I'm with you. I like this episode. The what the fuck nature for me. This is more in what the fun, but for me, it's a great merger because there are a few what the fuck moments that are like, this is weird because you get to have like Knight on a horse. You get to have the bunny from Alice in Wonderland. There are some very weird that Finnegan is extremely what the fuck is going on. But it is fun to see them play. I just kind of wish we'd had more play and more imagination. It's almost like there's not imagination enough. And I know that's got to be a budget restraint, but like you get the tiger, you get the plane. This would just be a great, I kind of wanted more chaos because the middle third does drag a bit for me. When we've clearly figured out the mystery, like the fight scene with Finnegan is so long. I think it might be the longest in all of TOS. It goes on for so long. The mystery isn't strong enough to carry the episode. You almost need to bring in those aliens sooner and have a bit more of a to-do with those aliens where they're insisting and just like, no, you will have fun. But he actually just comes out from behind the tree and says, oops, sorry, fixed it.
Well, I think that where this episode could have gone to sort of like bring Kirk and that fight have a little bit more depth other than just I'm fighting an old demon of mine would be to bring in that voice of Spock going, Kirk, you need to let this go. But instead it was leaning more into you feel better after you beat the shit out of somebody. And he's like, yeah, I do. Which is such a weird thing to highlight
such a macho
now.
way to handle that.
Maybe people who, like to go to the destroy things places and they beat up all the electronics or, things like that. They just need to get that out. I get that we need to get out that sort of energy, the intensity. It needs to go somewhere. But to watch a character whose desire is to beat the living fuck out of somebody.
You need therapy, Kirk. That's what you need. You've got some unresolved trauma to talk through.
Like we're just watching it going, oh, this is fun. We're getting to watch two guys just like roll around in the desert, for this show instead of it being like wow, Kirk is really struggling as an individual. And so
not a lot of call for that in the 60s tonight.
No. So when Spock comes in at the end there and says like, you feel better essentially, I was like, man, there's something missing there to give them even more depth, which is maybe Spock pressing in a bit on just the human tendency, I guess, to just need to just testosterone beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah. But there's nothing on the sidelines, you're right. And I can imagine that happening in another episode where Spock and McCoy, McCoy isn't there, but Spock and somebody trying to talk Kirk out of it and bring him back to reality. But Spock's just like, good time, bro.
Right. And if they didn't feel comfortable having a male character be that in touch with their feelings in the 60s, they could have easily given that to like a Ruth character.
Nah, she was too busy being sidelined and
she was
fawned over by McCoy.
She was waiting to be used up.
Yes,
is what she was waiting to do.
Well, we start off the episode with something that starts a trend in Star Trek, which is we find a planet for shore leave. It's beautiful. It's paradise. And
but something is wrong.
Something is now wrong. And this just starts a trend of shore leave planets going wrong.
Do you feel like my predictions were pretty good?
Your predictions were.
I think they were pretty good.
Let's have a look. Kidnapping, an exploration to find the people that have been kidnapped.
That kind of happened with Bones a bit.
A little bit with Bones, a little bit. Straying off the beaten path causes danger. Well, they actually stay on the beaten path and that causes danger, but that happens later in the episode as well. Go on holiday, but they have to fix a war crime of some sort. I mean, there was a war crime done upon them.
That didn't happen as much, but the thing that I kept kind of sticking on is I don't know if TOS has the budget to put somebody inside of a costume to have stamen for arms, and then it's like a flower that reaches out and grabs. But then immediately they have the budget to put somebody in a bunny costume.
They got the bunny costume. I want to know what movie that was meant to be in.
Probably
they didn't make it just for this episode. I guarantee that was already lying around.
This is borrowed footage from war stuff. This is borrowed, quick tiger check. These kinds of things. So anyway, I think my prediction was pretty spot on that something goes awry on a planet.
That's when I jumped in and was like, you're going to like this episode because of the costuming, and there's just a little bit more fun to be had with the costumes.
Yeah, so I think I nailed it. But yes, so the first things first is we're like preparing for going down. I honestly am glad that you said that this is kind of sets the tone for future Star Trek episodes for shore leave going awry. Because I thought you were going to say it sets the tone for a woman giving a back rub to the captain on the bridge of the ship. So I was like, oh, does this keep happening? Because I feel like this is firmly a TOS thing, you know?
It is. The yeomans in TOS, they have a very specific purpose. And number 1 is look pretty. And number 2 is service the captain. And number 3 is allow the captain to be rude to you.
And grab your wrists. And
the interesting thing in this moment is that it's actually less creepy than I initially thought it was, because Kirk is moaning about his back, and then Barrows goes straight in there and starts working on it, which is her bad. Like, ask permission, yeoman. But the cool thing is that Kirk thinks it's Spock. So he's like, get in there, Mr. Spock. Like, get deeper.
I didn't catch that.
Oh, did you miss that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he says, push deeper, like Mr. Spock. Like, really dig in there. And then Spock steps down and looks at him. And then Kirk realizes, oh, it's not Spock giving me the back rub. It's the yeoman. And then that's when he stiffens up and he's like, that'll do.
I missed that
completely
entirely.
Reframes what's happening in that moment.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that better.
Yeah, I like that much, much better. He literally says, yeah, push deeper, Mr. Spock.
Okay, yes. Yep. Dig in there.
Totally changes that scene for me. Because initially I was like, this is a bit far even for Kirk. Like, just getting back rubs on the bridge from the pretty yeoman.
I thought this was interesting. We next see sort of this report that Kirk asks for a report about basically the doctor's orders for shore leave. He leaves, and then we fade down to this beautiful green land, and it's the doctor and Sulu, and they're like super happy, and we get to see them kind of in like daylight. They're shot in the daylight.
Yeah, this is pretty rare. Just out in a
they're in a glade,
field, because
it looks
filming on a separate location that isn't on the lot is more expensive and it's trickier. So there is a freshness to this episode that looks different.
Yeah, and it was kind of like, oh, look at them. It's very interesting to me to see McCoy, for example, is also wearing eye makeup, and it's like the thing that makes it look a little different, that makes the audience flipping through the few channels on the television. Like, we need them to stop and look, and what's going to do that? Makeup, eyeshadow specifically. And usually when they're on the bridge set, I don't notice it as much. But here in the broad daylight, it's like, yeah, you are like straight up just smudged it on.
Do you know why it is as well?
Why?
One of the reasons is that the majority of TVs were black and white, and that makeup makes the eyes stand out more and it looks more profound. So it's a hangover from it not cool. meaning to be in color. Right.
That makes sense to me.
That's really cool. I love that.
So we're told here that there's no animals, no people, and that's sort of like where we're at. You have to see this to believe it. It's like out of Alice in Wonderland, the captain, you have to come down here. And they talk about the captain being under a lot of pressure. We learned that there's 430 other people aside from the crew on the ship.
Yeah, 432 in total, 433. Because he says his problems, Sulu's problems, Dr. McCoy's problems, plus 430 others. So yeah, I always love getting a little bit of a fact. I wonder if that's the first time we actually
get the number?
A population
I would
number.
Wonder.
Because this is episode 15, so yeah, it's pretty early.
And then Sulu goes to sort of scan the biology of the planet so that they can get some information, and the doctor spots the rabbit that comes up and Alice that comes over. Sulu doesn't see anything, and then we have the camera walking straight up like dun dun dun.
I love McCoy in this moment so much. DeForest Kelley's acting is so fun. Just he sees he has the perfect reaction, which is pure disbelief. Like they just hammered home how there is no animal life on this planet at all. And a fucking cosplay bunny walks out of nowhere and then followed by, and Alice is just like, have you seen a bunny in a waistcoat go by? And his little
he just points
that way. It's just great. And then the comic, Sulu! It's like, it feels like a episode of Friends, like a sitcom thing. It doesn't feel like serious Star Trek. I love McCoy in that moment.
Yeah, it's really, really fun. Then we hear the captain's log, which it's interesting because I'm noticing more that the captain's log is resetting the framework at every stage. And I know that they do this in every single one of them, but it seems like TOS is even more.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll pay more attention if we get back into TNG, like how the captain's log is used as like a storytelling device, because certainly in TOS, it's like let me just remind you what's happening on screen. Whereas I feel like TNG, there's still an evolving mystery to it. Maybe, I don't know. It just feels like they used it a little differently.
It definitely happens a lot in TNG. I do think it happens more in TOS.
Yeah.
And just to steal a comment from the live show, Intelmav says 100% it's a reset after a commercial.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense.
100%.
Now that you've come back from the commercial, here's your update.
Or you're just
here's
tuning in and we're getting you caught up.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a little overview.
But what I don't like about that is right here at this moment is when Kirk says it's almost too good to be true. And rather than being like, he does some things that are really smart. Like doesn't let the entire crew come down until a mystery.
Them.
Yeah.
They're ready. And he radios back up and is like, nope, stop them all. And I was like, yes,
that's what you're supposed to do.
That's exactly
but then he
what you should do.
completely undoes it by letting them all go later at the very end.
Completely agree.
And I don't know. There's just, he opts to not leave when they have an opportunity to. There's multiple moments as they realize their communications are going down and they're not going to be able to beam, that he could have gotten everybody back to safety. And this is where I don't know what the show is trying to tell me, but and it was mentioned in the chat too. It just seemed like there was some kind of mind control going on, or some kind of like I don't know.
Kind of making you dopey.
A drug. Yeah, like a poppy sort of.
Because Sulu definitely acted dopey.
Yeah.
Kirk was acting dopey with Ruth. They get really sucked into the illusion and believing that it's real, and they get fixated on the thing in front of them.
Or how Bones was talking to whatever her name is. I'll call her Princess.
Barrows. That's hard for me too, because I don't know. Their relationship like pops up out of nowhere. So it would help if there was some kind of like thing in the atmosphere that's making them susceptible to imagination or susceptible to drifting off. But I don't know how much of it was just, it's the 60s, hey, we need some love in this episode.
Yeah, but it was a lot more than I'm used to seeing, probably because it's a shore leave sort of vibe. There's even the extras like Angela or whatever her name was.
Oh, we'll get to Angela.
Will we? Is she important?
She is acting interestingly, considering in the last episode, her husband died.
Oh God. Anyway, so it's just like the captain is already a little suspicious, and then that really distracted me for the rest of the episode, because I just have too high of standards at this point. I think I'm spoiled for what should be protocol when you're going on to an alien planet.
Mm-hmm. No, and for me, the real crime here is actually McCoy, because McCoy is the first one that's seen the thing go wrong, and he makes his report to Kirk and says, come on down. Instead of doing a battle station's red alert, everybody get up. Even if I am hallucinating, that's fine. We'll just get back to the ship. But if this is as bad as we think it is, then that's the safest bet. But he really plays it off a little bit.
No. The problem is Kirk, who hears Bones say, I am medically unfit, and says, stop pulling my leg, ha, ha, ha.
But the
and
problem
just completely ignores him.
This came up before so there's...
I'll take your report under consideration.
But this is the problem. McCoy is a prankster. Like, McCoy does do shit like this. He
shouldn't be a doctor.
He probably shouldn't.
A starship.
He does make jokes. He does take the piss out of Spock. He'll like do pranky things like this that Kirk is used to. So Spock, it's a boy who cried wolf situation. Like, McCoy should be like, no shit this time. Seriously, something's messed up and I might need help here. So that's why I think the onus really falls on him, because McCoy and Kirk are so buddy-buddy. He needed to push harder on Kirk, just like, nope, Jim, serious talk.
Yeah.
Not pranking you. Clearly you've misunderstood what I'm saying here. But McCoy's just like, nah, coming down and see it for yourself.
We do get to have a moment when Spock tricks Kirk to go down to the planet. This. However, this was pretty clever. He's like, hey, we've got somebody on the ship who has, this is what their medical stuff shows. They're not performing at their best. And Kirk is like, we got to get them down for shore leave. What's this person's name? And he's like, James Kirk. Enjoy yourself, Captain.
It's you, fucker. I got you, bitch, is what Spock is thinking in his head, but he can't say. It's a trick so good they use it again in TNG. In the episode Captain's Holiday, Picard is refusing to take any break, and Deanna approaches him and says, there's a problem. We've got somebody on the crew that is overworked. They are in danger to themselves and to the ship. And Picard is just like, Picard catches on a little bit quicker, and he's like, who are we talking about? And it's so funny because there's like a scene transition, and then Riker comes along and says something about, have you seen this, Captain? Have you seen this is nearby? And Picard's eventually like, is everyone on a conspiracy to put me on holiday? So they do this ganging up thing on Picard as well. So it was almost word for word the same scene.
It's pretty fun.
It's really, really fun.
Yeah, but Kirk is unamused.
Kirk is not amused by that.
But we do see the appearance of a gun. So then the mystery continues to develop for those of us watching, where a rock lifts up and behold a gun, because Sulu apparently is a collector of weapons? Question mark?
Yeah,
I mean, that seems to be, he's really excited about it.
This is a classic, give them a trait we didn't know they had, because Sulu's also really into plants because of one episode as well. Like, he's found fussing over botany for some reason. So he's a weapons collecting botanist tactical officer. I think the idea is that because he mans the phasers, he therefore really likes guns.
It's an easy thing to do. And maybe because of his ethnicity, he's more prone to samurai attacks as well. It seems a little bit weird.
That was
but whatever.
Interesting. That's an interesting choice.
It is a very interesting choice. So the captain beams down with Barrow and and they walk over to Bones, who shows the footprints of the rabbit. And this basically gives the complexity of, this is not a delusion. This is really happening. And so begins something that is my most, there's some frustrating things that are happening here, but the other thing that Kirk does a terrible job at, he splits the party over and over over.
He has so much favoritism as well. He's like, Spock with me because I don't want you to die. Sulu, you're on your own. You go around that rock. I'm taking the really strong Vulcan. It's
crazy. It's really, really crazy. So we're hearing this little tinkle, tinkle, tinkle noise, and it reminds me of the Spock attack, when he was doing that ceremony and they had the tingling, and it was just the whole time there was a tinkle, tinkle, tingles. Yeah. This planet has the tinkle, tinkle, tingles as well. It also choreographs everything, which is not called choreography when it involves music, but it musically tells on itself at every turn.
Oh, it really does, yeah. This is when you should be concerned. This is when it's silly.
Lovey-dovey music. Yes. We have sexy lady music. We have Danger Noodle music. We have Danger Tiger music. There's just all of these different things, and it's not as subtle as storytelling these days, and so it's incredibly distracting.
It's one of the big reasons I sigh when it comes to going back to TOS with certain episodes, and it is the emphasis of the lovey-dovey music, because you'll also have the frosted blurry screen when a camera lens when a woman comes on screen. It's literally just a blurred lens that makes her look really shiny and spectral. And the overdramatic music, the long eye contact between Pretty Woman and whoever is looking at Pretty Woman, that's not of everything, I'm going to take that back, of many things that age poorly with TOS. That's the one storytelling wise where I'm like, let's go, let's move along, people, move along. This doesn't matter. Especially when we know the relationship isn't going to go anywhere because of one episode memory. It's just, isn't she pretty to look at right now? So that's always hard for me to come back to. And there's so much of it in this with Barrows.
This episode for sure has so much of the damsel in distress going for it.
So much.
This also kind of around this moment when they're interrupted of trying to figure out the bunny rabbit footprints by a gunshot because Sulu has just decided to like just fire at something randomly. So it kind of doesn't really go anywhere. We thought maybe somebody was going to be in trouble. There's also like red on the trees, and I kept thinking that was going to be, I don't know what the red on the trees was about, but there was red all over the trees.
Yeah, that was weird. Was that meant
never
to
really
be
paid off. I don't know if they were on a set that was someplace. I thought maybe it was meant to be blood, but at the same time, it wasn't nearly, there was never injuries that sort of reflected the blood. So it was a little, confusing for me, but we have the gunshot going off and Sulu is super hyped up and happy about his weapon. And also an antenna begins to appear.
I love this antenna so much.
And that is my other what the fuck is going on, which is this like kind of like it comes on for the camera and it just sort of overlays. And
like a little Comcast antenna
so
that's just like, hello. But it's an interesting bit of framing because it looks like it's attached to the camera.
It does.
And then just the POV of it is really strange. I do like it. I just wish it looked different. I wish it looked like something that wasn't on Earth. Like I could, in this room, construct something that wasn't an antenna that would look like an alien antenna. Like they must have had two-hand anything that would have made that look alien. But it's like Gene Roddenberry brought that in from his TV and said, we're going to use this as the alien telescope.
Yeah.
Or periscope, whatever it was, scanner thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot.
This is when they're talking about, so then the antenna's on screen and they're starting to kind of follow the tracks, and Bones and Kirk are sort of walking across the field and talking about like their history. And this is when Finnegan first appears. So he's like, you follow the rabbit, I'll backtrack the girl, I'll meet you on the other side of the hill. And then all of a sudden this jaunty tune starts playing.
Top of the morning to you.
And thus appears Finnegan, who promptly punches Kirk in the face and then begins to kind of taunt him. And so Kirk is going to attack him and they kind of are like teasing each other, but then there's screaming happening, and then this like kooky music is playing that reminded me of Willy Wonka. And this is when we come across one of two women being accosted in this episode.
I think all three of them. No, yeah, two of them are accosted. Yeah, Angela is it not Martinez? Angela, damn it, hang on. Angela Martine, who Kirk incorrectly calls Teller when he beams down, but that is Angela Martine. And the problem is they were reusing people, but to make the crew look bigger, they would use the same actor but give them a different name. But the problem was this was going to be too close after the Balance of Terror, where she'd already appeared. So in the script she was Teller, and then it got changed to Angela Martine, and she's the one whose husband died in the previous episode, and yet she's like cuddling up to
So it is the same character, or it's the same actor?
Same actor and same character.
Okay, and her husband died how?
Killed while doing battle with Romulans on the ship.
Oh,
Not on the ship.
okay.
He wasn't like hand-to-hand combat, but he died when the Romulans attacked
Gotcha.
the Enterprise.
Okay.
They just got married at the beginning of the episode, Deneé. They just got married and then he dies.
What a day.
What a day for them.
So in this scene, we come across Barrow, who had thought about Don Juan, and he appears and attempts to, I guess, assault her sexually.
Yeah, rip her clothes, and somehow he disappears
That's
magically.
the insinuation. Now, I've never read Don Juan before,
Neither
but
had I.
I now have more questions than ever about this character. So I haven't done any research as to like why this person would appear, and then instead of like wooing someone or having a conversation with them, he would be obsessively owning them and seeing them as like an animal mate.
Oh, because deep down, that's what all women want, Deneé. That's the reason.
I mean, I literally had a conversation with a gay man last night who was giving really interesting insight into like the things that the guys talked about growing up in like the 90s about how sex works and things like this. And he discussed a conversation with his friends where they're like, this is why you have to have sex this way, because women have to have it this way. And it was just this like really just
matter of fact. Everyone's the same.
You do it like this because they need this. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is actually really insightful, because that seems to be how many men approach me.
Oh man, that is so true. So, there is a key to unlock. There is one way to do things, and this is a psychology of women, and it's so much more complicated, and obviously.
Like, I feel like sometimes there's a misrepresentation about how quote unquote men are, because I don't like making like blanket statements or something. But it was just like when it was Don Juan, and Don Juan attacked her and hurt her and was ripping off her clothes. Is that a character trait of Don Juan, or is that the portrayal of what men are supposed to do? Like, do we know?
I have no idea about Don Juan. I've just done a quick Google search. And he is is a fictional character, obviously created by Lord Byron. And he is a charming but arrogant seducer. So my guess based on that would be he is an amalgamation of like aggressive, seductive machismo, and maybe in the poem or whatever he appeared in.
Okay, so he's more a player, is what's being said.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. No, damn it, the word. Don't say anything. A Lothario.
So, but there's a difference in seducing women and then like not wanting to be in a committed relationship and being aggressive physically.
Yeah, he's a very aggressive Lothario. Yeah.
But there was while we were talking about like all of this, Polly points out that Don Juan is more romantic, but it's a thing that in the 60s, a hero may be more forceful, especially in Westerns. And this is something that I'm always really sensitive to. Is that the John Wayne effect? Yeah, like how often women are grabbed at the wrist is infuriating. And it happens a lot. So and it's in this one as well. So yeah, it definitely had that vibe of like, anyway, Don Juan appears and is trying to aggressively sexually own this character. And that was another big what the fuck, honestly, for me. Right. But I don't think an intended one. I think the audience at home is supposed to go, oh no, she's been hurt. She needs to be rescued.
More normal. Yeah, more normal on TV.
Because then they continue to put her in that role of needing to be rescued. Yeah. So,
I mean, and she, just to skip ahead a bit, she moves on pretty quickly to then this sudden seduction by McCoy. And McCoy is her knight in shining armor, even though Sulu is the one that's run off to defend her honor and chase down Don Juan.
Yes, he did.
He did. But yeah, and then she's like happy to be seduced and has the princess outfit. And it's just, the characterization of women is so rough. It's so hard to buy into. And that entire segment of McCoy falling in love, and I guess it's to build towards his death and his stabbing so that she will feel some feelings about it. But just all of it is just, it makes for very frustrating watching for me.
Yeah, it is a very frustrating watch.
And it also ties back like that scene and Kirk fighting Finnegan also ties back into that for me. Is there something going on in the atmosphere here where they can't resist? Like, I wish that had been spelled out.
I do too.
Like there's something where they have to pursue this figment of their imagination, because it feels like they're just pursuing their own natural impulses.
The ending to this episode is another what the fuck for me, which is just this sort of like Kirk just sort of like a square.
Sorry, the laugh didn't work for you?
And where I like to think is that they were mind controlled a bit, and that's him coming to realize all the shit he just did and trying to like emotionally reconcile as he's like grimacing through it. Like it was a really fucked up. This is a horror episode, honestly.
It could be. This is what I thought as well. At the very beginning with the bunny music, and it's like, oh, tip-tip-tip-tip, super comical. Change that score. Make it dark. Make it spooky. Make this episode full horror. And I think I like it. I actually think I like it a lot more. Like, really eerie. Like, that bunny is creepy. This is danger. This isn't funny.
Yeah.
Everything here, and especially the sexual assault, is bad.
And Kirk, instead of protecting his crew, wants to give in to his desires, and he ends up inviting the entire ship to go down and indulge with him. And they all like that would be. I've been trying not to say this because I'm trying not to skip ahead, but I can't hold it back any longer. It is such it's insane bullshit. Every single person would need to go through training to control their minds, because that planet should be on fucking fire right now.
It really should, because the
somebody
barrier
could have just thought of a nuke or something. Like it's fucking crazy.
The barrier is so low because it's like impulsive thought. Spock mentions a tiger. The person with the most mental control in the ship, he mentions a tiger and it appears behind him.
Yeah.
The entire place should be like subjected to every random thought unless there are actually some controls in place and they're being filtered by the alien that's like, okay,
that's too
nukes
far.
Are off the table, that's too far.
But
I know the tiger won't kill him. Fine, he can imagine the tiger.
But it's not too far to actually kill them and bring them back. It's not too far to harm them and then have to drag them below ground for medical care.
And sexual assault. That's not too far. Like the pain that Barrows felt is real. Like how did that get past the filter?
What was that episode or that show? Was it Westworld?
Yes. This is like, a Westworld.
This is 100%. Like Westworld, or like there was that one too, was like called the Dollhouse or something like that.
Dollhouse, yeah.
And it was about women who were like designed, like basically they would go in and they give their brain to an organization and they turn into these dolls that are kind of can be sent on missions and stuff. But this definitely had a lot of that.
Yeah. Subject to the Summer Glau curse, which was whenever she appeared in something, the show got cancelled.
But anyway, back into it. We're seeing more of this antenna as Kirk is trying to run off after Sulu because Sulu had gone after the Don Juan Acoster. Mm-hmm. And instead of finding Sulu, he finds a flower and he fucking touches it. He doesn't even hesitate.
The flower reminds him of his love.
But he seems to be like really reflective and happy. And I'm like very Poppy-esque again, like sort of maybe alluding that there was something going on that they didn't really tell us exactly. But that's what makes this episode work. There has to be some kind of external force. Anyhow, he looks up and there is Ruth. And she walks towards him and she's wearing this like half white, half black thing. And I'm thinking, oh, interesting. What a like juxtaposition of the dark and the light of whatever is happening on this planet. I don't think that's actually what they meant at all. I think they just put her in a pretty dress and she says, Jim, darling, it's me. And he's really confused, but she nuzzles him. And then we go to Captain's Log, Stardate 3025.8. There was a little question at it. I think that's it. And he says the investigation of the unusual planet continues. It can't exist, but it's undeniably real. And that's when I was like, yeah, they'd be fucking, because you wouldn't say undeniably real where he's like with Ruth, like he touched her boobs.
Yeah, I don't think
he knows it's true. No, not then, but that's later.
Yeah, bonking definitely happened without a question.
This is also when the devices start to kind of fail, the communications start to fail. And he's talking to Ruth and it's like, I can't believe this. It's been 15 years. You haven't aged. And I wrote down, is this another salt monster? Because this is the same kind of thing,
funny.
Right? Where someone looks like somebody and then all of a sudden, like, I kept thinking that the planet was sort of giving these people, it was like manifesting different versions of itself to try to take something from the people, seduce, take their fight, energy. Whatever.
Yes.
And then we were going to kind of see that overlay of like the salt monster, but it didn't happen.
Funny. No, because that was way back at the beginning of that was like episode 1 or 2, I think. The man trap. Episode 1, if you don't include the cage. So yeah, sorry, Deneé, it happened this season already.
Yeah.
Nice catch though. I mean, obviously Q is the other one as well. I wondered if you suspected this as being a Q-like entity, because this is pretty close to what Q does. Like this is messing with people.
The idea they want us to believe by the end is that under the surface of the planet is a force field and a manufacturing organization.
Yes, a factory.
That is so powerful that it can scan your thoughts and then create a living version of that to interact with.
Hundreds of 3D printers and transporter technology.
Yeah, it is.
You 3D print the imagined thing, beam it up, and voila, playtime.
What would have been crazy is to learn that the planet was once not there, but then somebody interacted with an alien and they thought about a planet and the planet appeared. That was like the whole beginning of this entire space. Because it's like, we need to understand this technology, and the alien's like, yeah, you're not ready for that yet.
Well, and it's one of the bigger cop-outs, because usually TOS will be like, we are the Gambons and we have been around as pure energy beings for millions of years and we are observing your people. But this time, like, no writing happened at all. It was just, you're not ready for this, we make things, enjoy. That's all of the explanation. We don't get a name. We get absolutely nothing from them.
No, and like all the characters always run away. Finnegan runs away, the rabbit runs away, Alice runs away. Ruth talks to Kirk and says, come with me. And he's like, I can't. And she's like, well, you'll see me again if you want to. And she smells a flower and she walks off on her own as well. So
it's interesting because
they're not even trying to like pull them into a central location or like into a maze and separate them. They're all separating themselves. It's crazy.
Completely voluntary. But I do like that nothing vanishes, because then it's not like imagination. Like they did go to some effort to make sure we know these are physical things. Like they are happening. They're not just projections or anything like that. They are a physical thing that is coming up. They are literal sex bots that are coming up, and it never gets into the problematic area of using another person's image and then having fun times with that person. Like you couldn't do this today because of like the deep fakiness of it, and it's problematic when Geordi does it in TNG. But yeah, these are problematic holograms made real.
But don't think about that too much, because now we get to go into problematic assigning gender-specific things to characters, because in the next scene, it is Bones and what's her name?
Barrows.
As Barrows says that in a place like this, a girl should be dressed like a fairy tale princess with a tall hat and a veil, and Bones laughs. Then armies of Don Juans to fight off, and me too. And she's like, promise. And they get closer and they're holding hands. And then there's a dress in the corner. And she's like, look at me, doctor, a lady to be protected and fought for. And it's just like, Jesus, Lord God. Can we just skip it all?
Like, it's where it is desperately what this episode is missing, is some funny juice or something in the atmosphere that makes them susceptible to dummery. Like it's I just want to skip it all. I want to skip all of this section.
It's so frustrating.
I don't like McCoy's character.
No,
in
he's
this
awful.
Part. He's just awful.
He literally says, my dear, I'm a doctor. When I peek, it's in the line of duty. And then he fucking peeks.
He consistently peeks.
It's so gross.
It's all of it's gross. It's not McCoy.
Anyway.
It doesn't feel in character for me. Chekhov, I could buy Chekhov doing that.
You have to believe that they're like under some kind of control of some kind.
Even though they never say it.
They never say it.
You have to believe
But don't worry, after he peeks, it's no big problem because there's a tiger. And we cut over to the recently widowed woman with her new love interest, and they are clinging to each other as the tiger comes closer and closer.
Angela.
But don't worry, the tiger also walks off.
Question. Does she run into the tree? Why does she get knocked out? Does she faint because of like vapors or something?
No. She gets shot by the plane.
Does she?
Yeah, the plane, because he's like looking up, right?
I mean, I know they're running from the plane, but I didn't see her get. That would be.
Oh, that was later. That was in a different scene.
Yeah, it's sorry. I've skipped ahead a little bit.
Yeah. So when at that moment he's thinking about the planes from, like, the plane appears. He's like, hey, remember earlier when I was talking about the plane?
Remember in the middle of this emergency when I took the time to talk to you about World War II fighter planes?
That's it. And she's like, should we be scared? And he says, no, not unless it does that one run. And then it starts to do the run, and then it starts to fire out the machine, and then they run away from it, and she gets shot in the back. Oh,
interesting. Honestly, it looks like they're holding hands, they run, and he doesn't see the tree and just yeets her into a tree, and then she falls down. Because there's no like blood on her or anything, but I guess getting shot by the plane makes much more sense.
At this point, there's some conversation back and forth between Spock and Kirk as they talk about the birds appearing. But this is like the second time we talked about birds appearing. It's the whateverth time about hallucinations versus reality.
At this point, we're kind of done.
The samurai appears because of a secret hatch, and Sulu ends up getting up with Kirk, but the phasers aren't working, the communications aren't working, all this stuff. And this is when Spock appears because... What?
Don't skip this bit.
Okay,
he doesn't just appear.
He has to beam in with...
Doesn't just appear.
It's a struggle beam.
Yes, they're my favorite beams, and they are so rare in TOS. It's a struggle beam. So he's beaming down, someone's appearing. He's beautifully backdropped.
Yes,
there's like the low angle on the camera.
Good.
He's against that, and it's just like... Whee.
It's like really trying hard.
And it's like, I know when this beam should have ended. So the fact that it's going longer means something, and McCoy is like, something's blocking it, or Kirk's like, something's blocking the transporter beam. They're trying to come down, obstructing it, and then it whistles even longer, and eventually he makes it. I just love an extended transporter beam sequence, and it's so rare in TOS, and I love it. I love it so much.
He strands himself because he uses the last bit of energy to beam one more because he couldn't talk to anybody, so he had to beam down, and he came down to talk about basically what he's been finding out, which is something is happening under the surface.
I do kind of respect him beaming down to communicate that information. Like, we're in trouble either way. I am the one with the most knowledge right now. I'm assuming Scotty is in charge of the ship. He's left somebody responsible up there. So I kind of...
Hello.
They would never do that. I do kind of get that they should, but they don't. I kind of get Spock doing that out of desperation. Like, you need my knowledge right now and I can't get it to you.
But they do the thing where there's an emergency. There's, sometimes there's gunfire and you have to run away. Now they hear the tiger again. They decide to split up. And then we cut over to the knight on a horse coming towards Bones. And this is where things get kind of more serious because Bones straight up fucking dies.
Yeah, I actually kind of like this. I kind of like that he dies. Like, the stakes shift, the tone of music changes. There is a genuine stakes to this. And I don't know if... It feels obvious that he's going to live now, but I don't know how obvious that is in the 60s. I wonder if people actually thought maybe he does die here.
Well,
I don't know.
It is an interesting moment because, and how are they going to undo something like that? Because they do drag off his body, and the body of the knight. By they, I mean like the alien race or whatever species is kind of in control of this.
Oh, I told you,
it's
the Gambons.
Exactly. So we know that they're like retrieved, but yeah, at this point he genuinely is dead. So he's out, and they're all kind of like just surprised and shocked, and they realize this is a really horrible place to be, and they don't know how they're going to get off because there's no way to communicate.
Spock has all of the answers, but the episode still has a lot of time left. So here's a 10-minute fight sequence with Finnegan. Like, did you love the fights in TOS? And there were some great Kirk flying kicks. But even for you, this must have dragged a bit. Or did you enjoy this jumping about of Vasquez rocks?
We cannot go on to that yet. We have to talk about this because this is when they go over and they discover that the mannequin is weird.
Oh yeah.
I want to watch this scene again so bad.
Why?
Because I want to figure out what was going on. Was it a person that they poked and they put like makeup on them to look like a mannequin?
Yeah. That's what I've always thought.
Because the way that the cheek sort of bounced back, it looked crazy to me. Anyway, they got
I agree. I think that was a person, honestly.
Okay.
We could Google it.
I don't know. It squishes. It was really uncomfortable.
Was the knight in Shore Leave a real person? Let's have a look. The character was played by stuntman Paul Baxley during filming, but his face was concealed by a mask that was spray painted.
Okay. So there really was a squish.
Yeah, there really was a squish strip because it was a Halloween mask.
It really unnerved me.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That's really funny. I mean, take that with a pinch of salt. That's a very quick Googling, but it's both things. It was a real person with a mask on, spray painted, has some squish to it. Yeah.
But then, yes, Finnegan shows up and talks about reinforcements, and Kirk runs off because he wants answers. And this then becomes, like you said, the longest fight scene in maybe TOS history. Who knows?
Think so. I mean, it's always nice to see Vasquez rocks. These are the so many Westerns and so many TOS episodes are filmed in this place, and it's where the Gorn fight happens as well. So
probably just out there in the hills of Hollywood.
Yeah, just out in LA. That's where it is. Just we're
going to just drive 45 minutes and.
Yeah. So those spiked rocks are just embedded in most Star Trek fans' minds, and I think they appear in Lower Decks as well as like background rocks. But yeah, it drags. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm not a big fan of this fight, especially because it's so inconsequential.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. It goes on so long. I was looking for a quote here.
Yes.
It goes on so long that he says, "Sweet Jimmy boy, sleep as long as you like. Sleep forever and ever." And then he kind of like maniacally laughs, and we go to commercial, I think. And I think we're fading out. I was like, oh, this is interesting because now Kirk is going to be taken with
down to the factory,
like where Bones is gone, or where Angela is, or like we're going to see whatever is next. But instead, he just kind of like wakes up and rolls over.
They just keep fighting.
And then he's like, "Won't you ever learn, Jimmy boy?" And Kirk is like, "I want one thing. I want answers." And Finnegan like gives this weird smile and then just like throws dirt into his face. And then they go into another frenzy of punches and rolling. And it was absolutely crazy. And it goes everywhere. Like that was like the halfway point of the fight. And I thought it was going to be an interesting resolution, but it wasn't.
No, it's just Spock says, I guess, do you feel better now, Captain? And that's it. And they all gather and then it's just self-resolved because the guy just pops out and says, hey, it was me.
The alien creature says to him, I never answer questions from plebes, Jimmy boy.
Oh, Finnegan, yes.
And Kirk is like, I'm not a plebe.
I'm not a plebe.
It was so funny. Like I hadn't heard the word plebe until I was in my 20s or something.
That's so fun.
So that's just really fucking funny to me that this alien is taunting him, calling him a plebe. It was really, really funny.
Kirk was getting bullied at school and that's it.
And then whenever the punching is over and he actually knocks out his bully and he like has this moment, Kirk just has the fucking craziest smile on his face.
He's got the Back to the Future smile.
He's
when
so happy.
Crispin Glover's character, Marty McFly's dad, punches out Biff.
Yeah.
That's what he punched his Biff.
Oh boy. Then they finally realize they've got to control. Spock appears. They finally realize we've got to control our thoughts here. There's a force field underground that with large passages to the surface. He thinks about the tiger. The tiger appears like a little chain around its neck. And then they have to run back to the landing party and the plane is coming in and the warrior is tackling them. Like everything is kind of coming down to the craziness. And then just when you think that it shouldn't be over, Don Juan reappears.
Was he?
And tries to take her again. And when Kirk and Spock arrive back, Don Juan has his little rapier, like his sword, his fencing sword, and he's just whirling it around at the guys. And they basically are like, Don Juan sees Kirk coming, and he's like just shirt ripped open, bloodied face, and then Don Juan just runs off. He's like, I guess I'm done here.
Ran off so quick. I must have been taking notes because I missed his reappearance.
Oh, that was crazy. Yeah, he appears for the first. We get to see him for the first time.
I totally missed that.
And then Kirk is just like, don't ask any questions. That's an order. Don't talk. Don't breathe. Don't think.
Oh, yeah. And then
just
they do
state attention and concentrate on attention. Don't think about anything. And that's when the caretaker finally appears.
Caretaker appears. That's. It would be wild if this was the same caretaker that's in Voyager. I'm sure somebody will try and make that connection at some point.
And the episode really just barrels to an ending here because
wrap it up.
Right at the moment when you should be able to ask questions about like, why have you trapped us? Why can't we communicate with our ship? What's going on? Like you think it's going to be a no, we're out of here, and then put up a little warning sign in space, like don't go here. But instead they full on they Rigel it up. They're like, this is the spot. And Bones reappears with furry broad women. Did you say fucking nuts.
Did you say Rigel it up?
Yeah.
As in Rigel, the planet?
Yeah.
I think you meant Risa.
Yeah.
But also, Rigel is a planet in Star Trek, so you are forgiven.
That was where the cabaret women were on Rigel 2. That's
Rigel 4.
It was Rigel 2.
The Rigel system appears many times.
It was Rigel 2.
Throughout Star Trek.
Pretty sure.
No, I believe you're the one that writes it all down.
But I probably wrote it down wrong. But
That's
it was probably
amazing.
2. Anyway,
no,
it's good.
I believe
those bras, though.
Yeah, those
Rigel
bras.
it up, baby. Like,
Rigel it up.
What it like? So we have cabaret, and that's when like the sexy wah 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 like they're just like super sexy. And when Bones is like getting called out from his girlfriend, like he's like, okay, women, and he releases them to go pleasure the other men.
Pleasure the other men. I mean, to be fair, they aren't real people. They are robots, so they are designed to just go off and do this.
So uncomfortable.
So the uncomfortable thing is Barrows being possessive of McCoy all of a sudden. Like there are so many.
It's so strange.
Troublesome cliches in this one.
If you use proper caution, this planet could be an ideal place for those who wish to enjoy themselves, essentially.
Yeah, this should be the most popular planet in the entire
And then
galaxy.
Kirk smiles and calls Uhura, commence transporting shore leave
Bring
part.
them down.
And it's like there's without any warning at all, they all come down and everyone dies.
This is what should have happened. There is now just a crew of 10 on the Enterprise. That's it. It's not 400 anymore. Yeah, there should be a briefing on the ship first. Like, if you're going to do this, this is what you're in for.
It's crazy.
Transporter lock on everybody at all times.
No, not even like the end scene is this Spock's like most illogical, which I think is supposed to be the end joke of the show. Like it's Spock's little one-liner to kind of like ha-ha it out. And then Kirk like laughing to himself. That was crazy. This is a crazy episode.
It is. It's what the fuck. And that it just ends like massively illogical.
Warp factor 1.
It did have, I had a couple of fun facts from Flyboy mailed to me. This episode went a full day over filming schedule, a full day overdue. Apparently Gene Roddenberry was rewriting it on the days, like on set. Like, apparently he was
you can tell.
by a tree rewriting bits of the episode, and it feels like that. It feels
yeah.
And also, shit, I've got one day left to film. I need to wrap this up super quick. Blah, 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 blah. Caretaker, blah, blah, blah. Laugh on the bridge, done. It's very much, let's hand in my homework assignment as soon as possible. Yeah, so it's a weird one.
It is a weird one, but that's what we're doing this season, so I'm not surprised.
So overall, Ambassador, give us some pips. Did you actually enjoy the episode now that we've digested it scene by scene?
Yes, I did enjoy it. I think it's unique because it's inventing, something interesting. And I'm trying to remember, like, I think I gave Spock's brain a pretty low because it didn't really get into the alien stuff as much as I wanted it to. And this one's doing the exact same.
Exactly. Welcome to TOS. You wanted to give it higher last week, but I think you landed on like 2.5 or 2.
Okay. Well, it can't be underneath that because it's technically, I think, a better episode
interesting.
In a way. Like, I think I would watch Spock's brain because this one doesn't do a lot, but it's interesting. You've got a shore leave. It's got mystery. It's got a big cast. It's got, a unique location.
Yeah.
But it's just does not answer enough questions. And I do not like what's happening with the women on screen at all. So that's the men aren't doing great. The women aren't treated great. It's just a weird premise overall. It feels like a lot of drugs were taken and not enough questions were asked before this one was made.
That is an absolute perfect synopsis.
So I don't know. I think I'm going to go 1.5.
I'm going to go 2, and it goes down really low because I just want to skip the stuff with Ruth, the stuff with Barrows in the outfit, McCoy being all eyebally. So yeah, it's quite a low down one for me. I do have fun. It's stupid, but I do have fun watching Finnegan and the brief appearance of the rabbit and McCoy at the beginning. Man, the extended transporter scene does some work for me because I love a good beam down. But overall, it's and again, like, what's the episode saying? Be careful what you wish for. I guess.
Yeah, what is it saying?
What is it actually saying?
I don't think that this one has any depth or message except for we're going to go have some shenanigans on a planet. And
what would happen if you went to a planet like this?
We need to use every single costume we have in the trunk. How do we make this make sense?
Literally what is in the trunk? We've got a bunny, Cabaret, a knight, and Don Juan. Well, I guess that's your episode. All right. Uncomfortable stuff done. Ambassador, where would you like to go for some emails?
Oh, definitely not on this planet.
No.
Because right now I was just thinking about that cat creature from K-pop Demon Hunters, and so that's what would appear right now.
Oh no! Just been trying to pick things up that have been knocked down.
Yeah, we can't go to the planet for sure. What?
Probably the holodeck is a good option.
Yeah, let's go to the holodeck.
That's the next best bet.
Let's do that.
Let's go back to the holodeck for some emails. Hailing frequencies open, everyone. It's time for us to read your messages from Discord, Twitch, email, and email. It's been 4 years, Deneé. It's been 4 years. You've got one this week.
Yes, I do. This one's from John, who was almost in a car accident due to our show.
Yep.
Quote, I almost drove off the road laughing, crashed my truck on the way to work when I heard Deneé read my email and Ian's reaction. Ian, you're absolutely correct. We're both right. I do not know what we're talking about.
Oh, this is the Warp 10 email where I got called out for the warp scale not being defined or Warp 10 not being mentioned as a limit. And it was mentioned in the technical manual.
You are absolutely correct. We're both right. You two are awesome together, and I love Captain's Pod. Please keep doing the podcast, and please keep being you. Live long on Podspur. P.S. Shit, there's a lot of exclamation points in this email. I gotta calm down, or I'll have a heart attack and need a transfusion for my daughter while Bones performs a quadruple bypass on me.
That's really the main reason I wanted that read out. It was a lot, and I love it. And I hope this reading of your response to us reading doesn't cause another similar accident.
I also hope you don't get into an accident.
Please. But the most important thing is that I'm right. I have a message.
That's why you wanted me to read that one.
I have a message, and I think John's a great sport. I have a message from Cameron that Cameron doesn't know that Cameron has sent this in because I pulled it from the Discord. I try not to pull like too much from the Discord unless it's specifically, hey, Ian mentioned this on the show. But this I just really, really liked because it started a great conversation in the Captain's Pod. No, I think it was in the general Star Trek channel. Cameron said, what would you want a steady diet of in Star Trek? Character stuff, morality stuff, action stuff, question mark, question mark, question mark. And I wanted to ask you that question, Ambassador. What would you ideally like? Because we're always trying to quote unquote fix episodes. What do you want from Star Trek? What do you want your steady diet of Star Trek? No, what do you want your steady diet of Star Trek to?
It is very difficult. Like, so chat's saying funny stuff, for example, and for me, asking a show to make me laugh is really, really tricky.
Humor's so subjective.
Yeah. But I would love to be entertained. And I think I got that in Lower Decks quite a lot. I found the humor and the pacing of Lower Decks to be something that I really had a good time with. But if I was going to inject something into Star Trek that I needed every single time, it would be one new species in the background, at least every episode.
Oh,
I want to see diversity.
Yeah.
With what makes sci-fi so fun for me, which is it's unlimited. It is your imagination and, so whether it's dots or gills or antenna or webbed digits or coloration, just the uniqueness of like the creature work and the costuming. I want to see something in every episode that makes me go, ooh, what was that? Yeah,
like the opportunity to explore strange new worlds. Like this is a sandbox where you can see pretty much everything. I love that answer. For me, it is time travel. That's it. That's all I want. No, I want the moral questions. I want something that makes me think. I want something I haven't thought of. I want a high concept sci-fi. I do actually genuinely want time travel, timey-wiminess, weird science, like an expansion of the science we know today to its what we think natural conclusion 200 years from now. That's what I really love. TOS being when it is, and then TNG being where it is after that. I'm a little bit annoyed with Discovery going 2,000 years or whatever. No, sorry, 600 years beyond that. Because now the technology is just, well, everything is magic. Because the ship can change shape, the nacelles are detached, the transporters happen, we have magic material and interfaces. It's so hard for me to get from what we have now to what we have in the Discovery show because it's so far. It stops being. It's obviously still speculative, but it's like just it may as well be magic. But TNG, all of that stuff, I'm like, I see that technology. I see us aspiring to that technology based on what we have now. That's a big chunk of what I like, of what I want from Star Trek. And people, character explorations, and people that I love hanging out with. I love hanging out with the crew of TNG. I love hanging out with the crew of TOS. Voyager, Deep Space Nine. I love hanging out with these people in that universe. So yeah, great inadvertent question, Cameron. Sparked lovely conversations on Discord and in the live chat. And hey, what is Star Trek? They should do an episode called that sometime.
Oof. What is Starfleet? Or what is Star Trek?
Well, I was making a what is Starfleet joke with They tried it. You got that. Well done. All right, everybody. Next week, the votes have been counted. I would have bet money that DS9's Move Along Home was going to win. But Move Along Home has tumbled, and there is a chance we won't be covering any Deep Space Nine this season. Next week's episode is going to be Star Trek Voyager Tinker Tenor Dr. Spy, an episode I have misnamed multiple times on this podcast and in the Discord and on Patreon as well. But it's season 6, episode 4. We're heading into Voyager for a What the Fuck episode.
What the fun?
What the fun. I love this episode so much. The votes are now, they're not clear. The tallies are still there, but everybody can vote again. We have got one more episode in this season and 5 to choose from. All of your votes matter. Statistically, any one of them could be the last episode if it gets enough votes. So make sure your one is represented. And you can do that by going to patreon.com/Ian and Deneé. It is the pinned post at the top of the feed and is updated, and you'll know when it's been updated. You can message in that thread post thing. You can contact us on Discord by going to the description of this episode and following the link to join our Discord. You can also email us, ian@iananddeneé.com. That's the best way to get in touch. Ambassador, anything else?
Nope, I don't think so. Oh, I guess I'll say quickly that we are going to be putting out a pre-order form on Patreon and on Discord because we are going to be attempting to make 3D printed models of the Derpa Prize for sale. And we're just trying to get an idea of the actual interest in them so that we can kind of prepare for how much printing is ahead of us and what kind of a project we're looking at. So at the time this episode releases, you should be able to find it on our Patreon. So that's patreon.com/Ian and Deneé, or you can find it in our Discord. And there's links in the description of this podcast.
Yes. Derpa Prize. Well, until next week, I'm Captain Ian, and it's most illogical from me.
And it's, oh, my paws and whiskers, I'll be late from me.
Live long and Podsper.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Captain's Pod. If you'd like to get in touch with the podcast, you can send us an email to ian@iananddeneé.com. And if you want to support the show and get the episodes early, you can go to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Ian and Deneé. If you want to catch the show live, we have those links down in the description for YouTube and Twitch. And then I think I'm supposed to close this hailing frequency, so bloop bloop, we're out.
Waiting for Deneé to come to do the show. Oh shit, I'm not logged in. Could you say that again for the camera? For the microphone?
What, did I never lose things?
Yeah, that's the one. I just wanted to get that on record.
Yeah. One of my favorite things from living together is Ian figuring out like what kind of like what his hair is going to be doing, because when he first came, he had like longer hair. He was experimenting with longer hair, and it was like, okay, it's time for that to go. And he goes and he has the conversation with the stylist, and he's like, this is what I'm going for. I'm like, you're going for Pike. Like, that's exactly what you're describing as Pike hair. And then he'll like put some product in it, and sometimes he'll like fall asleep and take a nap. For some reason, he likes to just sleep on his face. I don't understand it.
It's the only way I can sleep when I nap. I cannot just like get cozy into bed. I have to be face into pillow, suffocating myself until I pass out.
And so then he's like, man, this has worked so well for me, because when I wake up, my hair is just straight.
It looks amazing.
It's entirely like piked.
My hair routine in the morning is shower, bit of mousse, hair dry or blow dry with a comb, then product, and then it should be nap.
Should be.
To then get the volume.
It's been a wild few weeks for us. We've been preparing for my first ever like having friends over party. And it was in conjunction with Halloween. So we wanted Iris to have some friends to come over and, you know, like be able to walk the neighborhood with. And it sort of evolved into like, we're really excited to have people over. And then we were using the 3D printer. Ian, what's the achievement you just got for your 3D printing?
Oh, no. So I just got an email saying that I got I think it's like Maker World Vanguard or something.
Amazing.
And that means that I've printed 100 models with a collective total of 750 some hours. Yeah. Hours of printing time.
And we've only had the 3D printer for like 2.5 months. Now that we're done with the Halloween party and stopping printing like cool ghost stuff and skeleton hands and spooky lettering to put up on the walls and all that stuff, we're gearing back into testing the Derper Prize to prepare for being able to sell them hopefully around Christmas time. But please be on the lookout because we do plan to put out like a little poll to see about pre-orders and interest, things like that. So we'll also be putting that onto the podcast. So if anybody is interested in a Derper Prize, whatever model we end up coming up with when we're testing those now, that way we kind of know how many we need to prepare to print and also like what a decent price point would be because we do have to pay for shipping. So we don't have like a cool agreement with like
the annoying
shipping
part.
Is going to be the big part. So we'll do our best.
Wandering sent me a message. I think it was Wandering. Correct me if I'm wrong. Last week. So you remember last week when you were singing, talking constantly over my intro?
No, I don't remember that at all.
Uh-huh. And some people who listen to the pod may not remember because I cut your voice out and just played it in the outtakes so that people knew what I had to go through to get that take. Uh-huh. I was so focused on getting the star date right, I said Sinterprize instead of Derper Prize.
We stole the Sinterprize last week?
We stole the Sinterprize for one episode. Yeah.
Okay, so he's more a player is what's being said.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. No, damn it, the word. Don't say anything. Nope, it's gone. Damn it.
It could come back.
Not aficionado. But it's something like that.
Casanova?
No. It's not Casanova.
Is he a Don Juan?
Him. Don Juan is the best.
He's a Don Juan is what he is.
He's a... God damn it. It's now broken into... Connoisseur. It's now that's closer. It's now broken into really annoying. Affogato? No. God damn it, mate. Not a cadaver. Keep going. One of you will get there.
Why don't you look it up?
I have nowhere to go.
So the word that you're trying to... Chauvinist?
No. Lothario! That's it! Yes, I knew one of you would get to it.
That was literally not anything that started with a C. Oh,
the
my
Ario.
God.
The Ario.
Oh, my God.
It's the Ario. That's what it is. Casanova, philanderer. That's a good one. He's a philandering Lothario. Can I dispel a myth about aim?
No.
Why not?
Because
there is this misconception that when men pee, it is like a bow and arrow. And it's just aim, fire, that's where it goes. It's not a bow and arrow. It's an inconsistent hose. Like, it is not easy to control. Like, it is not a linear thing. Mm-hmm. So it is difficult. The problem is not cleaning up after oneself. The problem isn't the aim. The problem is cleaning up.
Do you think people will listen to me just eat chips?
No, because I don't put it in the edit.
You're not going to put this in the edit?
Actually, sometimes I do.
How about this?
No.
Here's the amazing thing about doing something like that on audio. Everybody gets to imagine what they want the crunchy chip to be. Like the flavor is in their mind.
Oh, are you going to reveal what the flavor is?
No, it ruins it.
So if I told them that it was barbecue, it would ruin it.
Yeah, because it's not barbecue.
If I told them it was sea salt, then it would ruin it.